I just want to wish them a merry off season and a happy Christmas.
Hey everybody, happy holidays.
Hey everyone, I'm Ben Schneider. And if you're subscribed to this channel, which reminds me, thank you all for 1K, I really appreciate it. You probably know that the two things I discuss most on this channel are motorsports and game shows. And since it's Christmas time, I thought it might be a fun opportunity to take a look back at 10 of my favorite times these two worlds collided in some way. Now before we get into it, I want to acknowledge that the line between game show and reality competition is often blurred. So while it is fun to look back at Julia Landauer's Survivor appearance, Alexander Rossi and Connor Daly on The Amazing Race, Kevin Conway's Shark Tank pitch, and the Dancing with the Stars seasons with Elio Castroneves, James Hinchcliffe, and Michael Waltrip.
I don't know about that last one.
Yeah,
Sorry.
We'll have to, that could be a finger crosser right there.
I wouldn't consider those shows to fall under the same category as other traditional game shows. So for the purposes of this video, all they're going to get is an honorable mention. With that out of the way, let's get started. Number 10. The Daytona 500 delays the premiere of Cherry's Wild. This is a pretty recent one that you're probably only familiar with if you're a part of NASCAR Twitter, or happen to be a really die-hard Cherry's Wild fan. Cherry's Wild was a 6-episode mid-season game show event for Fox that was basically a 30-minute infomercial for Wild Cherry Pepsi. I won't bore you with all the details, but basically the goal was to collect 5 wild cherries on a slot machine throughout the game to win $250,000. What puts this show on this list, however, is its intended premiere date. See, Fox planned on premiering the show as the lead-out for the Daytona 500, but the 500 was delayed due to rain and didn't restart until roughly 9 p.m. There were briefly some rumors that Fox might push the 500 to FS1, but thankfully cooler heads prevailed and the Pepsi game show was simply pushed back a week. The 6 episodes came and went, and one team did manage to win the top prize, but otherwise the show is pretty forgettable at best, even for die-hard game show fans. Number 9. Greed's first ever question asks about the Indy 500. If you follow this channel long enough, you'll know that Greed is one of my all-time favorite game shows. And I still think Fox would be much better off giving us a revival of Greed rather than a second Cherry's Wild season. The very first question the night of Greed's premiere was a qualifying question that asked contestants to name the average speed of 1999 Indianapolis 500 winner, Kenny Brack. It's a nice little Easter egg for race fans, and proof that anyone generally familiar with IndyCar racing could have qualified for the first ever team to play Greed. Number 8. Brehanna Daniels appears on To Tell the Truth. Brehanna Daniels is a NASCAR tire changer, and the first black woman to go over the wall in a NASCAR Cup Series race. Just this past year, Daniels appeared on ABC's To Tell the Truth revival, and even fooled Brad Garrett into picking one of the other panelists. It was an interesting perspective watching To Tell the Truth knowing ahead of time who the central character was. And I didn't expect to hear Rick Ware Racing's name on ABC in prime time this year either. But hey, I'm sure it led to some great exposure for everyone involved. Number 7. Kyle Busch appears on the $100,000 Pyramid. Like To Tell the Truth, Pyramid is one of several shows that has gotten an ABC revival in recent years. And in the show's second season, NASCAR champion Kyle Busch appeared as one of the show's celebrity panelists. Busch played 2 games over the first half hour of the episode, but unfortunately wasn't able to get into the winner's circle either time. Though he did find an interesting way to plug his sponsor during the second game.
All right, Kyle, describe these last names of people who have tens of millions of Twitter followers.
Ellen.
DeGeneres.
M&M's. They're the family that own M&M's.
Hershey?
No, the other one. M&M's.
You could
Outer
pass.
space.
Planets.
Yes. A planet.
Mars.
All I think, that is the most stressful 30 seconds of this game I've ever had.
No kidding.
Far, dude.
I know.
You got a perfect score.
Number 6. Jeff Gordon appears on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Towards the end of its original run, Millionaire relied heavily on celebrity specials, and one of these was a Sports Superstar edition that included NASCAR champion Jeff Gordon.
The Brickyard is the name for what famous sporting venue? Fenway Park,
Why couldn't this be my, $64,000 quiz?
Yankee Stadium, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Rose Bowl.
C. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, final line.
Got it for 8,000. Sure, you did it. You got it.
Gordon was able to get up to the $32,000 safe haven with some assistance from his fellow sports superstars, and made it as far as the $125,000 question. Unfortunately, despite using his 2 lifelines, he gave the wrong answer and walked away with $32,000. Number 5. NASCAR drivers appear on Family Feud. During Richard Karn's tenure as host of The Feud, several NASCAR drivers and teams got to compete on the show in a series of specials, even substituting the NASCAR theme in for the show's soundtrack.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. It's NASCAR week on the Family Feud.
I've got to say, I wonder if Richard Karn misses Scott Wimmer as much as Bob Pockras does. Anyway, how about some more Family Feud on this list? Number 4. IndyCar drivers appear on Celebrity Family Feud. In 2016, Elio Castroneves, Tony Kanaan, James Hinchcliffe, Will Power, and Connor Daly competed on Celebrity Family Feud against Sports Illustrated swimsuit models. The drivers ended up winning the game easily, with Hinchcliffe and Kanaan clinching the $25,000 prize for the Indy Family Foundation. Number 3. Sam Schmidt appears on Press Your Luck. Schmidt might be the only one on this list whose game show appearance came before his racing career. Schmidt was an IRL driver in the late 90s, and even won an IndyCar race in 1999, before an accident ended his racing career. He's still active in team ownership today, but long before his time in IndyCar, Schmidt was a contestant on Press Your Luck in 1985.
Our second player is Sam Schmidt. Sam, how are you?
Pretty good.
Good. Now, Sam, you have an unusual hobby, don't you, on weekends? What is that?
I like to drive race cars.
Now, is this serious?
When I have the money.
I understand. Well, that's why you're here, to view some more money.
I need some money, that's right.
Now, you drive your own car, or do you...
Yeah, it's kind of like a jalopy racing, factory stock, dirt track stuff.
I see, like demolition derby kind of videos.
Some people call it that, yeah.
I understand.
It's not supposed to be.
Maybe you'll make some money and buy a car.
Definitely.
All right, Sam, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Winning over $16,000 over the course of 3 episodes. Number 2. AJ Foyt and Ray Haroon appear on I've Got a Secret. Along with What's My Line, I've Got a Secret was a popular panel game show in the 50s and 60s. After winning the Indy 500 in 1961, Foyt appeared on the program with 1911 Indy 500 winner Ray Haroon, as two men who accomplished the same feat 50 years apart. Bill Cullen was able to figure it out, but how he came to the conclusion doesn't exactly help the misconception that race car drivers aren't athletes.
Mr. X, the thing you did, sir, was it in the field of athletics?
Wouldn't we say, rather than directly athletics, the wide field of sport?
Was it, sir, automobile?
Yes.
Well, should I then?
Sure,
Indianapolis this year and Indianapolis.
Right.
Gotcha. And you're...
Well, you got him right. You got him right. This is A.J. Foyt, who won this last week's Indianapolis 500-mile race.
Mr. Y won the first Indianapolis
Oldfield?
race.
Absolutely right. Ray Haroon. Now, Mr. Foyt, you certainly rode a thrilling and I must say somewhat frightening race last week. Now, what was your average speed?
A little over 139 miles an hour.
139 miles average. Now, Mr. Haroon, what was your average speed in the first Indianapolis race in 1911?
Just a little under 75 miles an hour.
Now, think of that. Our conception of speed has changed so radically in the past 50 years. But your rate was considered quite phenomenal at the time, was it not?
Well, we thought it was, yes.
It was more than a mile a minute in 1911.
Number 1. Alex Trebek competes in the Toyota Pro Celebrity Invitational at Long Beach. Alex Trebek is a game show legend, serving as the host of Jeopardy from 1984 until his passing in 2020. But in 2009, Trebek crossed over into the world of racing by competing in Toyota's Invitational race at Long Beach.
Not everyone can provide the speed, like in a horse race. Some of them are there to fill out the field, and that's what I'm for.
Trebek finished the 10-lap race 15th in a field of 18 cars that included Al Unser Jr., Johnny Benson, Jamie Little, Keanu Reeves, and Raven Simone, just to name a few. Regardless of the result, just seeing the legendary Jeopardy host hop into a race car at 68 years old is more than enough to give him the top spot on this list, as well as his own racing reference page for good measure. So there you have it. 10 times the racing world collided with the game show world in one way or another. Motorsports has always been popular, and game shows have always been popular. So I'm sure we'll see the two cross over again at various points down the road. Let me know in the comments what your favorite moment on this list was, or if I missed anything. I may be able to stretch this into a two-parter eventually. Anyway, I'm Ben Schneider, thanks for watching, and have a merry off-season and a happy Christmas.